What's up, Dolphin fans? Welcome back into the Baptist Health Studios for another episode of Dolphins HQ. My guest today is Dolphins linebacker Jordyn Brooks. And Jordyn, big dub on Monday night. How did it feel to get that one?
Good. It was kind of like a relief, monkey off our back to finally get a win this season. So that was an exciting win for us to get.
Do you feel like you can kind of build off of the energy and the result of that game going forward here?
Yeah, you want to hold on to that momentum and just that feeling of winning, putting in the work all week. And getting the results that we wanted as a team. So we want to hold on to that for sure.
It seemed like in the pregame, and ESPN does a good job of giving us all the looks of the pregame huddles and things like that. Like there was an immense amount of energy that translated into a pretty spirited effort by you guys. Is that accurate to say? And do you think that the energy pregame kind of led into how the game played out on Monday night?
I don't know. I feel like we always had that energy every game. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. I think everybody's always ready and excited to play. So I wouldn't say that was the reason why we won. And maybe it was a little bit added, this game wearing the black jerseys, Monday night, prime time, so maybe.
You're a fan of the jerseys, the new kits?
Yeah, I like them. Yeah. I like them a lot.
A little bit. I always think the Dolphins' color really pops against a dark background, like dark gray or black.
Absolutely.
My favorite color for the scheme here. So what do you feel like you learned, not just from that game, because obviously the 1-3 start wasn't what this team envisioned coming out of the gates, but you're in this position now to kind of turn things back around after the big win. What do you think this first month of the season with adversity and then the big win on Monday, what do you think you've learned from the first 4 games so far?
I'd say to just keep going. You can't predict what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. You have a good feeling about how a game's going to turn out. But I say to just keep going, keep preparing, and keep working the way that we do. And that's the biggest thing that I'm learning for myself and for us as a team is that you have to keep going. It's a long season. Each game is different. Different challenges present themselves. So you got to keep going, you got to keep believing and stay even keeled through the highs and the lows.
Do you feel it's kind of a responsibility of yours among the other captains as a captain to kind of portray that message and make sure the guys are following that lead?
Yeah, absolutely. Just as a man, I feel that way. That you have to be right there in the middle somehow, some way. You got to be there in the middle. So though we won the last game, that's over with now. You know what I mean? Got to get back to work and prepare for this next team coming up. And so stay somewhere in the middle. Stay calm, stay poised, continue to work.
I know that you've always viewed yourself as a leader of men and a person that can kind of rally the troops, but this is your first year as a captain in the NFL. What have you learned about that type of leadership and being a person that has the C on your chest that guys can come to and ask you questions?
Yeah, it comes with a lot of responsibility. Everybody wants to be a captain until you start 0-3. Right. You know what I mean? So it's good and bad with it. You carry that weight to lead your team. And you have to be the example of how you go about business through the losing and through the winning. And so for me, I accept and embrace that role and embrace that challenge.
It's kind of interesting because to me, a lot of the captains in the defense, yourself, Zach Sealer, I know Minka's not a captain, but he's a big voice in this defensive, part of the team. You guys all kind of have this measured approach where you're quiet leaders, right? And I get the same sense from Coach Weaver that he kind of has that as well. But in his last press conference we had Coach Weaver he was spirited, man. He was impassioned. He was, talking about the urgency and just a kind of a different tone from him. Did you guys get that in meetings throughout the course of last week from Weave? And how was that different from, previous Anthony Weaver meeting sessions?
I feel like Coach Weave is the same. Maybe it was a little bit different to you guys and seen him in the press conference, but whenever he gets fired up, he's fired up. He's also an even-keeled guy at the same time. So meetings all week, the emphasis was turning the ball over. I think we did a good job of that. It's some other things that we still got to continue to improve in, but he was on fire all week. But I think that's how he always is. For us as a defense.
You mentioned the turnovers. 3 fumbles is obviously, a great thing to get for a defense. But I think some fans sometimes think that fumbles can be maybe a little bit fluky. But I'm curious to hear from someone whose job it is to, put a hand on the football. Just how intentional can you be when it comes to trying to put hands on balls and create takeaways that, create the chaos yourself?
Yeah, it's kind of like a science to it. Because nobody's going to just hold the ball out like a loaf of bread and let you take it out of their hands. So it's opportunities in the game. The one that Jack had is one we call like a stumble fumble. Is when they're falling to the ground, that ball is kind of exposed, and that's the perfect time to punch. And he got the opportunity and seized the moment right there for us. And then we had another one thing on special teams, and then the one T-Dot got on the strip sack. Anytime we're talking in meetings about fourth and turnovers, the strip sack is always the one that we feel like is the easiest to get. Quarterbacks, I don't think they have great, ball protection skills, and so those are the ones you really want to try to get out when you make the sack. So those are the things we emphasize, and it ended up working out for us.
On Jax, I noticed that before the snap, he wound up like a mugged up backer like yourself in that A gap because of that unique formation the Jets ran. Was that a unique situation for a cornerback to wind up in that spot? And just tell me about how he was able to kind of, wheel out of there and make a big play in the game like that.
Jack was just playing football. We were in man coverage. His man was in the backfield. He wasn't supposed to be in A gap, but he was just playing football. And ended up spinning out and making a great play for us. I
was going to say, I don't think I've seen a cornerback or a player that size in the A gap before. It was kind of unique to see. So something we talked with you about on the Under the Sun episode and just throughout the course of the offseason was the bond of this team. And I'm curious, I know you've spoken highly about the way you guys get together outside of, football and meetings and things like that. How do you think that contributes to where this team can, they've already shown it with one game in the win over the Jets, but going forward to kind of, take on this 0-3 start and then turn things around? How much do you think the bond can help you guys do that?
I think that's what the bond is about. It's easy to be close when everything is good. You know what I mean? But you build that bond for moments that we've had earlier already. You know what I mean? You build that bond for those moments, so nobody goes scattering all over the place, pointing the fingers, slandering, gossiping about each other. Hey, he got to play better. He's got to do this. No, we're all in it together, and so that's why the bond is built for adversity. The Bible says a brother is born in adversity, and I'm living it. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, the first 3 weeks didn't go our way. But the bond that we built over the summer, OTAs, training camp, it's allowed us to stay together. And so we just want to continue to keep that going, keep winning.
To kind of finish that thought and finish the interview here with Jordyn Brooks, Dolphins linebacker. Last year, a lot of the conversation was about how you guys kind of clicked around the midseason point with the defense and kind of took off from there. Is there maybe something similar you could hang your hat on in terms of the start defensively where you kind of feel, Buffalo game, second half, you guys got 3 consecutive stops. Jets game, you get the takeaways and you get plenty of stops and hold them to, I guess it was 13 points before that last, kind of garbage time touchdown they scored. Do you feel like you can kind of take from last year in terms of how you guys built off of the early season part of your success and continue to make it even more so in the second half of the year?
Yeah. I think defensively it's just about finding our stride and catching a rhythm. The thing about last year, it was last year, and last year was a total different number of guys. I think it's only me and Sealer really returning from last year's defense. And so we have a new group this year. And so it's about, the growing pains and learning and working through that. But I think we're catching our stride. Those turnovers help, man. It boosts the morale and the energy of the defense and getting those 3 and outs and getting stops. And so we just want to continue to get that going and, really turn the page for us.
Great stuff. Dolphins linebacker Jordyn Brooks, appreciate your time today, man. Thanks for making your HU debut, and good luck on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Another edition of the Film Breakdown here, taking a look at a few of the elements from this Dolphins offense that worked in the win over the Jets on Monday Night Football. In this first clip here, I'm going to show you how the Dolphins' outside running game sets up the play-action passing game, all the motions and shifts this team can do. Going to go ahead and bring Tyreek Hill across the formation right here on this motion. He's going to get set. And then here comes Alec Ingold, which changes the strength of the formation. So they start off 2 players this side of the formation coming over. That changes the strength. And I want you to watch the way the Jets are going to bump this. When you see linebackers slide like this, to follow that motion, man, that's going to be what you call a bump on the defense. And what the Dolphins will find out by this motion right here is the Jets try to disguise this coverage. It's actually going to be man coverage, but with nobody running with the motion men usually indicates zone, but you're going to see it is man coverage here because you're going to get matchups with Sauce Gardner coming down here, this cornerback on Jalen Waddle, and this safety's going to buzz down here and try to pick off Julian Hill over the middle of the field. But what Miami does a great job of on this play is look at all the overplay they get on this outside zone fake by Tua to Achane. Just look at all these bodies on the wrong side of the formation for the Jets right there. Tua has all this space to operate with, and then here comes Tyreek across the field on the little drag route for all kinds of space for an explosive play in the passing game. Go to the end zone angle right here and get a look at this. I said it was Achane, but it's actually big old Ollie Gordon back there in the backfield. So there goes the motion. Tyreek over to the side. Here comes Ingold, bump the formation, and watch Tua's detail on the ball fake right here. Put that ball out there, show the defense the football. They're going to overplay it, and you pull that thing back out, and you get an easy room service completion right here to Tyreek Hill for an explosive play for the Dolphins offense. Go ahead and jump forward to the next play we're going to look at here. More of the same, a 2nd and 6 in the third quarter. The Dolphins are going to score a touchdown on this play. We're going to go straight to the end zone copy here because I want to show you the formation. You've got Alec Ingold and Ollie Gordon. That's a lot of beef in the backfield. You've got double wide tight ends, Julian Hill and Darren Waller. 22 personnel right here, 2 backs, 2 tight ends, and we're going to once again show the run game action off the left, the strength of the formation. There's Alec Ingold, little short motion to the I formation right there. Show the ball to the defense, pull it back in, go back across the bootleg, and just watch all the Jets defenders displaced on this play. You've got 7 Jets defenders on the wrong side of the formation as Tua bootlegs. You've got a collision there for 2 defenders, 2 more defenders colliding with each other. That's never going to work in terms of how your defensive fits work, and the Dolphins take advantage of all this space to Darren Waller on a wide open touchdown throw in the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the night. So the overplay against the run action for this Dolphins offense has provided a bunch of successful offensive plays over the course of the Mike McDaniel era. Let's go ahead and show you Darren Waller's first touchdown catch of the night. A nice throw in the back of the end zone here from Tua Tagovailoa. And this is a different variation of how this offense can get to different looks. And what I was very curious to see was Darren Waller playing from bunches and stacks. See these 3 receivers right here, right? Devon Achane, Jalen Waddle, and Darren Waller flexed out in this trips formation right here. That causes a bunch of confusion here in the coverage and how they pass this stuff off. And the Dolphins are going to switch release this and get 2 players running out routes, and it creates an inside leverage opportunity here for Darren Waller to sneak around Sauce Gardner, who is in this man coverage position, and he can't win to that position of the field because Waller's so big. Once he gets that inside leverage, he can kind of box Gardner out and get to that space. Luckily for Miami, Tua threw a perfect ball, because watch Brandon Stevens right here, the Jets cornerback on the backside of the formation, does a good job filling out this play and kind of sinking back into this coverage area. But because Tua puts the ball in a perfect location, back 5 yards of the end zone, you want to throw that ball around the crossbar up there, and that's exactly what he does. And Brandon Stevens can't get the height to elevate and make a play on that football because of the location here from Tua, who also, by the way, the quick setup from Tua right here, his feet were fantastic in this game. I mean, that's not really a proper setup for a quarterback, but he can get that quick trigger from a kind of awkward platform, awkward release, and put that ball right on the money to Waller for 6 points for his first touchdown since the 2023 season. Let's go ahead and go one more play ahead right here, and this is just an entirely different look for the Dolphins offense. Spread formation, 5 out in the pattern right here. You've got all the stars, Waddle, Tyreek, Waller, Achane, all the guys, Malik Washington in part of this formation. Or this is actually Nick Westbrook-Akine, my apologies. He's going to run a nice little in-breaker right here that creates a natural rub, and Tua knows he has a basically 2-man coverage right here. Man coverage underneath, 2 high safeties. We're going to try to hit this rub route to Waddle because, well, that's not enough room for the safety to get over and make a play. So Tua hits the top of his drop. You get a nice little natural rub right here from Westbrook-Akine in this position, and Waddle can win from there all day long. Ball's right on the money, a big 3rd down conversion on an eventual touchdown drive. So Miami, with all this big body personnel, all the speed they have, they can really hit you in a variety of ways in terms of how they want to play physical power football in the running game, take advantage of defense's overplay, and then when they need to on big 3rd downs, can spread you out, true drop back game, and their quarterback can dial up these perfect throws to receivers like Jalen Waddle. So Miami really has every answer in the bag right now in terms of how they want to attack opposing defenses, power game, speed game. It's all there for them to keep putting this thing together here going into Week 5 against the Carolina Panthers. To close out our Week 4 win, let's take a look at a player who made an impact that maybe you didn't notice in the game on Monday night. This week's Unsung Hero, presented by Microsoft Copilot, is a guy that just got here. Cole Strange was a first-round pick of the Patriots in 2022, and he arrived in Miami just 3 weeks ago and found himself in the starting lineup under the primetime lights. This offensive system is complex, especially for an offensive lineman. Coach McDaniel has described for years now how they retrain linemen to play in the system, and it's all built around firing off the football. It makes sense that Strange fit right in. His 10 split time back at the 2022 Combine ranked in the 97th percentile among all offensive linemen all time. And in his first start, Strange got off the ball, created vertical displacement, and played connected and pass protection. According to True Media, Strange allowed just 1 quarterback pressure on 28 pass blocking reps, filling in on an offensive line that has endured some injuries. Strange stepped up at just the right time. The Dolphins head to Carolina looking to secure their 2nd straight win, and like the Dolphins, the Panthers are a 1-3 outfit with a big divisional win at home on their resume. And there are similarities in approach for these teams as well, at least when it comes to the offensive side of the football. When the Panthers are going right, quarterback Bryce Young is operating on the move, off play action, and all of that behind a strong running game. Like Miami, Carolina has been down 2 opening day starters on the offensive line from early on this season. Former Dolphin Rob Hunt is down, and in his place has been Chandler Zavala, but he had to exit Sunday's game against the Patriots as well. Also, center Austin Corbett has been down. He's replaced by Cade Mays. If the Dolphins can find a way to penetrate on the interior and force the Panthers into a true drop-back game, the defense should have some opportunities to create more takeaways, just like they did in Monday night's win over the Jets. Offensively for Miami, I think the formula is the same. Run the football, get to the play-action game, and distribute the rock to all the playmakers on the offense. The Dolphins have been unveiling some wrinkles, their typical bread and butter, with Ollie Gordon as a change of pace, and plenty of 2-back and 2 tight end sets to assert their will up front. The Dolphins' run game design has been unfurling unique looks that have helped create advantageous blocking angles in the running game for all the guys up front and among the running backs. To do that, Miami has to find an answer for Derek Brown, a 6th-year Pro Bowl defensive tackle with plenty of power to spare. He helps set the table for Christian Roseboom and the rest of that Panthers linebacker room. Carolina also has a star on the outside in cornerback J.C. Horn. He figures to match up with Jalen Waddle on a regular basis, especially when they call their man coverage. But the Panthers are largely a young secondary. If the Dolphins can spread it out, run the ball, that would allow them to get to some of their preferred concepts and hopefully coax the Carolina defense into a few mistakes. It's a big game in Carolina. The winner of this game emerges 2-3 and right back in the mix in their respective conference. That will do it here for this episode of Dolphins HQ from the Baptist Health Studios. Don't forget to check out the Drive Time podcast hosted by yours truly, available 5 days per week wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the Dolphins YouTube channel for new episodes of Mic'd Up, Coach McDaniel breakdowns, media availabilities, and Under the Sun. We'll be back next week to get you ready for Week 6 against the Los Angeles Chargers right across the street here at Hard Rock Stadium. Enjoy Week 5 in Carolina, and we'll see you soon.